obviously she has pressures that she's taken on and things, but we spend a lot of time together.
We spent a lot of time together, but I mean, she has a lot of responsibilities and such. Pippa Middleton spent more than 14 years making a good name for herself as the favorite sister of the royal family. But in December 2024, she walked into a London church Christmas service without being seen. The pictures they took quickly went viral on the internet. There were reports about plastic surgery, a sudden change in weight, and side-by-side comparisons music that even her biggest fans were shocked by. What really changed in the years she wasn't seen by the public? Also, why does a woman who used to look better than celebs at every event now look like someone else? No one thought the story would go as deep as it does. The Royal Berkshire Hospital in Reading, Berkshire, England was the place where Pippa Middleton was born on September 6, 1983. She was born 17 months after her bigger sister Kate, who was born on January 9, 1982, and was named Philippa Charlotte Middleton. She was the second child in the family. Her life has always been somewhere between normal and quietly determined. Michael, her dad, was a Brit Air flight controller, which was a steady job that paid well. In the past, her mother Carol worked as a flight attendant. They were happy and not having a hard time, but there was more to the story behind them. The people who lived before us had very different lives. In the past, grandparents and great-grandparents worked as merchants, business people, and even government leaders. That past success in music hung in the air, and the family's view of the future was changed by its loss. That change was important. It made some people hungry, especially in the house. There was a time when Pippa was very young when her parents were already planning something bigger. For just $34,700 in 1979, they bought a cottage in Bradfield, South End that was half separate. It was a simple house at the time. In a few decades, it would be worth almost $500,000. But that was only the start. After that, things quickly changed. The family moved far away in May 1984, when Pippa was only 8 months old. Michael had been given a new job that took them 3,400 miles to Amman, Jordan. After that, they lived in a very different world for 16 months until September 1986. It was hot, strange, and full of new sights and sounds. Kate went to school there, and Pippa grew up in a place where most British kids never experience a different society. Those early years were important. In the end, Carol said that the move made them stronger, but also hurt their funds. Pippa quickly adjusted. She learned a few simple Arabic words by the time she was 2 years old. There was a small thing that showed something big. She learned how to adapt and fit in new places, which was something that would stay with her for a long time. When they got back to England at the end of September 1986, they went back to living in Westview, their home in Bradfield. It felt like old times again, but life didn't stay still for long. Music. The family grew when her younger brother James was born in 1987. In the same year, something else began to take shape. Carol started a little company called Party Pieces. At first, it was just a mail-order business idea for party goods, but it grew quickly. The fact that it felt so personal set it apart. The kids even took part. Pippa, who was only 4 years old, was in the catalogs with Kate. They posed for pictures in themed clothes and smiled, but they didn't know it. But they became the faces of a growing business. People would look at those early pictures again, years from now, but at the time they were just for family. By the early 1990s, Pippa had been in special photo shoots with everything from bunny cakes to underwater scenes. It made more money and opened up new opportunities because the brochures were selling well. It paid for better schools, more chances, and over time, a different way of life. With her family back home, her life became more stable. She played in the yard at Westview. Everything was about moving, from long runs to hockey practice to games played outside. She became a strong, sporty girl who was always moving and pushing herself. Carol put together events that stood out. The neighbors saw. Picnics were well planned, sports days were well run, and the mood was always lively. Then things changed, again in 1995. Because of how well Party Pieces did, the family could move to Bucklebury Manor. There was progress, which meant the plan had been successful. What began as a small thought had grown into something strong. All of this helped Pippa's personality start to take shape. She stood out at school. From a young age, she went to St. Andrew's School in Pangbourne and quickly became known for her sports. She played hockey and ran, and she won. Being disciplined and having a lot of energy came easily to her. She wasn't a quiet person. After a while, things changed at Downhouse. There was a lot of pressure and social tension at the school because of its image. In that area, Pippa dealt with things differently than her sister did. She stayed longer, felt better about herself, and worked on what she did well. She stayed out of the worst parts of the drama, but she learned from it all. After that, everything got better at Marlborough College. She got a scholarship that was important. It showed that she belonged there because of her skills, not because of her background or money. She threw herself into everything: sports, studying music, and making friends. She kept everything in check and did it with a lot of energy. People were aware of her. People who knew her thought she was friendly and sometimes even too driven. But that drive helped her move forward. Others stayed out of rooms, talks, and chances, but she walked right in. When she got to the University of Edinburgh, things kept going the same way. She learned English literature, but she did other things in her free time. She made friends and became a part of a bigger social group by living with people from wealthy homes, going out, having long talks, and having busy days. Everything came together to make a life that moved quickly. At the same time, her name showed up more often. First, only a few references, then more often. She wasn't well known yet, but people were starting to notice her. She was becoming known to some people. She got a job after finishing in 2008. First, she worked for a London PR company, and then she moved on to Table Talk to plan events. It worked for her, putting together, connecting, and managing specifics. It all played to her skills. Through hard work and making friends, she slowly made a place for herself. At the same time, she kept up with the family business by changing party times and helping out where she could. She found a middle ground between her own road and the one her parents had set up. During those years, her life went by quickly. Work during the day and hang out with friends at night. London became the stage for her. She was seen in clubs and music events with people from the same social groups. She was called a social climber by some. Some people thought she was just good at playing the game. Then all of a sudden, in April 2011, everything changed. Pippa walked behind Kate in a white dress that fit her well at her sister's wedding at Westminster Abbey. It was only minutes long, but that was enough. Everyone took notice. As soon as the camera stopped, the titles came out. She went from being known in a few groups to being known all over the world in an instant. There was a lot of attention. Everyone saw your every move, outfit, and look. It was too much. But it also made music possible in ways that hadn't been possible before. Within a few months, there were offers, book deals, work with the media, and speaking and singing events. She got a $400,000 advance for a book by the end of 2011. It was a huge number because people knew her name right away. When it came out in 2012, her book tried to make her look like a living expert. Not as many people thought it would land. At first, sales were low, and people were not nice about it. But the moment was over. She wasn't just a character anymore. She had turned into one. Alex Eldon existed before James Matthews became the man that everyone thought was dating Pippa Middleton for good. The press loved writing about him as a boyfriend. He went to Eton with Prince William and was a member of the exclusive prefects club called Pop. He had already built a good reputation as a former county cricketer who quit playing full-time in 2007 and went into business. They were together from about 2010 to 2011, and for a while it looked like they were meant to be. The press couldn't get enough of them together and took lots of pictures of them together. That was until Pippa's maid of honor moment at Kate and Will's wedding in April 2011. After that, everything changed. Reports said that Eldon stopped the relationship by the end of 2011. The huge amount of media attention was said to be a big reason for the breakup. Nico Jackson then came along, and this relationship lasted a lot longer. Jackson worked for a hedge fund and Pippa was a stockbroker. They were together for about 3 years, from early 2013 to 2015. At that time, they were often seen at fancy London spots like Annabelle's, and their attendance at high society events led people to believe that they were going to get engaged soon. It looked steady and important from the outside. At that point, Jackson went from London to the Geneva office of Deutsche Bank in 2014. And that one change made things in the relationship harder over time. Once upon a time, things were easy. But now they are long distance, and when both people are busy, long distance rarely stays easy for long. In October 2015, it was said that they had broken up. Some reports even said Pippa thought the move would finally get Jackson to propose. But the romance ended. Around the same time, Rue,